Well, fans, this is the first time I've addressed you personally. My name is Tyler Faulkner, and I just wanted to share some things with you because I've come to a revelation, and I'm pretty sure of it after long doubt and speculation. You know my videos, to my fans, you've watched my videos. I think you understand the gist of what I'm trying to get across, the point I'm trying to make, sort of offhandedly, if you will. But anyway, starting on July 20th and ending November 11th, 2022, I released on Facebook the journals I'd written in spanning from January 1st, 2010 to January 10th, 2022. I lost someone very close to me named Lizzie, and after her death, I wasn't able to, in August 2021, I wasn't able to journal. I just didn't have it in me. My mentality was just off. And even when I started up again in early January of 2022, it didn't last long because, I had cancer before Lizzie died, and a number of other traumatic things that happened, and I just kind of felt the weight of it crash down upon me. And I was kind of crippled mentally, and the trajectory of my life was very uncertain, and it caused me great distress and anxiety. But yeah, in July, I started to release my journals, and they're all in moleskin. I labeled them with yellow and black label tape. So this is the one from 1 January 2010. It's mislabeled on this. It's actually started in 2010 to 3 August 2013. That's volume 1. Volume 2. Volume 3. Volume 4. Volume 5. Volume 6. Volume 7. I'm currently working on Volume 8. So there's been a huge gap because of the events that I relayed to you. The loss of Lizzie, cancer, losing my job. I didn't lose my job, but I worked for my dad, and it just, father-son relationships in general, but working with family's tough. But all those things kind of, it kind of crippled under the weight of it all. The trajectory of my life was very uncertain. I developed worse habits than I had prior to that, even, which is saying something. I've always kept this. I don't feel in any way that I've ever been out of my mind or out of control. But I've gone through great distress since about 13. I just haven't been able to reach that level of clarity and sustain it for throughout my life. I haven't really had any successful relationships. I had a few brief ones here and there, and plenty of flings and whatnot, but what always kind of stood in my way with regard specifically to having a relationship, because you gotta think about the other person, was that I had something to do, and it's always been kind of vague. I've never really known what exactly that was or why it was so important that it was impeding a lot of potential happiness in my life, but whatever it is, I obviously thought it was very significant. So fast forward, July 20th, I released these journals. I start out volume 1 every hour. I would release one of them. Volume 2 every 2 hours. Volume 3 every 3. Volume 4 every 4. And then until about page 133 out of page 192, out of 192 pages, I started to release them like every 11 minutes because I wanted to get it done. I was ready to get it done. There's a lot of controversial stuff in there. My opinions are pretty extreme, I think most people would say. I really document it thoroughly, the rise of Donald Trump politically, his election eventually, and throughout the campaign, which, I mean, I think for many Trump supporters, you view, the Trump presidency sort of through a lens of Q, right? Q is a anonymous poster. He's posted, I believe, as of 27 November, he has posted 4,996 times from October, I think it was the 28th, to the present. And like my journals, he took a considerable absence from posting again. I believe we even stopped around the same time. But anyway, and I'm not going to go into all of it here, but, because my situation is kind of strange. And of the essence to get it resolved, really. Because I'm alone on an island here. Like I said many controversial things. I went into pretty deep detail about what I thought about Q, the validity of it, and was very enthusiastic about it coming to fruition. I was kind of, it was exciting. It kind of gave me something to look forward to, and that was kind of lacking in my life. And like many, after Joe Biden was elected president, I was a little disheartened. And I would say that even contributed to much of my depression. Because I was very enthusiastic. I lost every friend I had because I guess you could say supported Trump. I don't know what that means. I don't know how I could support him. I voted for him. I like him. Would I hang out with him? Probably not. Different personalities. I'd love to meet him, to pick his brain, to learn from his wisdom. I really appreciate his method. And I think it's undervalued. And a lot of the things that people say that he's crazy or that he's off the wall, I don't think really understand the full breadth of it, and that it's so necessary in today's political climate to rock the boat, because no one rocks the boat. It was just kind of strange because it's like my whole life everyone knew politicians were corrupt until they started talking negatively about Trump. Then they were the bastion of truth. But anyway, so on November 11th, my last post, I actually wrote a journal entry on November 11th, 2022, my birthday, at 9:22 p.m. So I turned 33. I was born 33 years ago to the minute at that time. And that's when I made my written journal entry. But I stopped posting the journal entries that I'd already written on November 11th, 11:55 p.m. And that wasn't my intention, really. I mean, eventually I realized I was going to catch up, but it wasn't until the last week or so that I really saw how engrossed it was and how perfect it was, because when I was releasing it, it was like I said, volume 1 every 1 hour, volume 2 every 2, volume 3 every 3, and so on. But I would do that 111, 211, 311, 411. So it was always in the multiple of 11, just because it kind of creates this atmosphere. That it kind of, it's reflective of the 48 laws of power in a way to create an amazing spectacle. And that's what I attempted to achieve through that, tactic. Surround everybody in the 11. Because, you see, I was born on 11/11/89, 11 years until the next millennium. On November 11th, I turned 11 at the millennium. On 11/11/2011, I was 22 years old, straddling the two millenniums, 11 years. And so every when I'm turned 44, it'll be 2033, 11/11/33. 11 plus 33 is 44. You get the point. 9/22 is when I was born. 22 divided by 11. So I, since I was about 16, I've sort of embodied in the people that I know the 11/11, kind of mystique, I guess you could say. and the number just arises. It's always kind of arisen. I try not to give it too much attention. All the attention that people give it now are, others, who say, oh, I think about you when I see 1111, and whatnot. And I always felt like it was kind of significant. I wear size 11 shoes. And there are other things, but I won't go into that here. But when I stopped those posts the day after, so people, well, I'll backtrack a little bit. In the final days of when I was posting, people would drive by my house at the 11-minute mark, at the 22-minute mark, whenever I post. And I thought that was like something like support, like keep going, we like it, and whatnot. But when I stopped posting, I was kind of like, okay, like what's going on? How much longer is this gonna last? I don't have anything left to post on here. That was the finish. And then I posted another one. I started to post the journal entries that I'd written 12th, 13th, because I'd gotten back into it and had written for a week. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll start posting them again. But as soon as I did that, cars just start passing my house at all times of the day, 24/7. I can't go anywhere. I work for DoorDash. I'm a DoorDash delivery driver, which I like, not super, it's not like a prestigious position to be in, but it works for me. I want to be a writer. I want to spend my life doing that. And I really have putting all my chips in that basket, or all my eggs in that basket, I guess it could go. But yeah, people just started circling my house and following me wherever I go. They're taking pictures of me when I'm dropping food off. I'm worried about a setup. Like, okay, because anybody who works for DoorDash, and I suppose ordered for DoorDash, knows that, one of the options that people especially started to use during COVID is leaving it at the door, no physical contact. I have my own thoughts on COVID, but I like that. I haven't been a delivery driver before. Very convenient. Very convenient. But, it just kept going and kept going. And eventually I found cameras in each one of my smoke alarms, and realized that I was being surveilled. And I try to get this across to people. But they just think I'm crazy. Like, people want me to go see a psychiatrist. They think I have schizophrenia, that I'm paranoid and whatnot. But I'm not making up seeing these cars following me everywhere. Like, I know I live on this street. It's a busy street that I live on, but it's not busy at 2 a.m. There shouldn't be 15 cars passing by. Like, you can't go 2 minutes without a car racing by all day long, like, without stop. There's been occasional lapses, but they're keeping an eye on me everywhere that I go. And it happened 11/11, well, I guess the day after 11/11/22. That's obviously a significant day to me. But then I remembered. I was like, and I thought this was strange at the time, because Q made a post, I believe it was March 10, 2018. All he said was 11/11, right? That's it. And I was like, what? Why would he say that? And again, I'd stopped applying much significance to it. It was an interesting thing, for people. But I just thought it was strange, and there was another one where it was 11/11/18 was the day would be free. But future proves past, right? Anyone who's followed Q knows that he says that. And I think I've come to believe that every post that's made is reflective of what's going to happen 4 years later. So a post that's made 11/11/18, if Q says something's going to happen on 11/11/18, it's really going to happen on 11/11/22. The day I turned 33, the day I stopped posting, I kind of tried to align it, like, because I remembered that and I thought it would be, cool and unique and whatnot, but given the reaction to it, I mean, I pissed a lot of people off. Talks about some very controversial things. Hopefully, some of it I'll be able to show you in the future. But and I'm just like I was kind of losing it. I mean, it's been very stressful. I mean, people are like, oh, just let you follow you, just let them follow you. You're making it up in your head, but I know I'm not. I know I'm not. Let me rewind a little bit because, the Las Vegas shooting was really kind of the spur of the Q posts. It was that event that was talked about so recently, or it was like a month after it happened, I believe. He started talking about it on November 5th, 2017, and, making posts about Prince Alwaleed bin Talal and his involvement in Saudi Arabia, his involvement in the Las Vegas shooting, which was pretty significant in my opinion. But I've researched it for many years. I've read articles from all over the country, small newspapers, large newspapers, just trying to get to the bottom of what happened. And there are a lot of peculiar things. Notably, so Stephen Paddock, right? He supposedly shot all these people, mowed all these people down, 400 yards away on the, I believe it was 32nd, 33rd floor, and it's kind of unclear, from the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino. And, 1,100 shots, injuring 420 people, like 800 something were injured total, but 426 were through gunshots. And you see, I traced every bullet. I recorded every name, where these people were hit, how many times they were hit, the location where they were hit. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't add up. Not even close. And there's a ton of other things that I don't have time to go into right now. But what you need to believe is that I've been building the definitive case against the narrative. And I would crush it. Once I get it all cohesive, I will crush it. But one of a friend of mine, Cody Gorman, I'll give his name, stole that research off my hard drive. And we hadn't talked in 3 years. And this would sound crazy to anyone else, but I want you to think about it a little bit. So me and Cody, we knew each other for a long time. And we were particularly close during the Trump presidency. But there was an issue involving a girl, and, the time we spent was apart. He disagreed with what I was doing, so he took that information. And, he texted me out of the blue a few days ago, some just crazy stuff about blood curses, hoping the cancer comes back, praying to dark gods and whatnot. Just nuts, just crazy stuff. I mean, I guess not crazy, kind of crazy to say to your friend, but, those things are real. I don't have anything that, I believe that blood curses are real, magic is real, but it's only really a bastardization of what God can do for you in your life. You got to let God inhabit you, and he will give you that power to do those things. All these magicians, they can only reach a certain level, carbon copy. A copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, and it's not going to be effective. Even the most effective person probably couldn't get 20, I mean, it's not even comparable to what God is able to do with the people who love him, and who live upright lives. But, going through this situation, it was only a couple of days ago that I started to notice this. Realized that I've been, because I get followed into stores, I went to this place called Jupiter's, the pizza place / bar last night. And I kind of noticed some interesting things. And I realized that these were the victims of the Las Vegas shooting that were happening. Thomas Day Jr., Angela Gomez, Sonny Melton, just standing around me innocuously. It's almost like these crisis actors. Because what I think that my friend Cody went to the dark web, went to whatever website it is that these people congregate in and make their plans and do their planning. And said, hey, this guy's going to expose you. Like, you guys are screwed. He's got all this information. Probably sent them the information. And that can't happen. That opens up a can of worms that you can't get out. So many, the house of cards crumbles if that's the case. And I think that he was waiting for, I don't even know if it's necessarily related to my journals, but I think he was waiting for that day, 11/11/22, because he's really trying to stick it to me. So yeah, I think he contacted all these people, and they're trying to surround me now. And they are surrounding me. Everywhere I go, it's like my whole reality has changed. Every store that I go to has a new employee, that's talking to me. Again, like Dana Gardner, one of the people who supposedly died in the Las Vegas shooting, is working at a Circle K, I think. Those 2 girls that died in Moscow, they were at the Circle K too. They've been driving around in a little red car, spitting image. I mean, it's the same story with the Moscow, Idaho one. Nobody, is it shooting? Is it stabbing? How many people were there? How many? Nobody knows anything. And what they're trying to do is, make me look crazy. And they've done a pretty effective job. I gotta say, I can't get through to anybody. They want me to react to it. And I was a little bit, but I realized kind of the game plan. Because the idea is to discredit everything I say. Because if I am discredited, so is my work. And people already think that the conspiracy stuff is nuts. So it wouldn't be, and I'm kind of a loner, so it wouldn't be hard to fit me into that narrative somehow, just like they do. But yeah, so they're all around me. The concierge bus, 2 buses that were escorted by police came in, and actually, because at first I didn't know if it was like a government agency or a political activist group, Black Lives Matter or whatnot. But I was trying to test the waters because I thought that maybe they were trying to set me up as like a drug dealer. So I put this out, and it's backwards now. But these are like psych out codes, for like drug drops. D spot 1, 2, 3, incoming mail, 2 dummies, 1 tree. And so I was just trying to fake them out. But I realized, in the next 2 days that I worked for DoorDash, every place that I went, Papa John's, which cheese pizza, right? Right? You know what that means. So I think that they're going for that angle too. That may even been the original angle, to set me up as some kind of pedophile pervert, which I am not that. I spoke out against it. That's why they're coming after me. The Las Vegas shooting, I spoke out against pedophilia. I said the Chinese government and the CIA are working in conjunction to use North Korea as a child sex trafficking hub, which I believe. And there are a number of other things, like for instance, sort of some things about the Champaign police and how they handled a certain investigation with regard to a Chinese student that was over here. So there are a number of groups that are after me. I think the Chinese government, based out of University of Illinois, I live in Champaign, Illinois. University of Illinois has a large Chinese population, and I do think that Green Street Realty, actually, a real estate company around here, got these bids for the Carle Hospital, and just an outrageous amount of money it would have cost. They didn't have the funds, but somebody I knew told me that the Chinese are using it as like a slush fund. So they're pretty entrenched in this area, and therefore communism. So these communists or whatever are following me around everywhere. It's a smear campaign. And I think that they are miscalculated a little bit. I think there were 2 times where they thought they had me set up, but it wasn't. Because you know why? Every time they try to do something to me, like if they poison me, and I think they have, it makes me stronger. If they try to separate me from my family and friends, I grow closer to them. God is working within me to when they make me weak, I become strong. And I will not bow down to these people. I won't. No one believes me. I'm all alone on this island. And that's why I'm talking to you. And you may not believe me or believe anything that I believe. I'm going to make a claim at the end that, might be hard to muster, but find a better answer. Again, I don't have too much time. I got to go DoorDash so these guys can follow me everywhere. All my friends, my entourage. I want you to take a look at this really quick. I kept this, I laminated it, a lot of great information on it. Okay, let's see. So at the very bottom, let's see if I can get a clearer look. Anybody who's known this, though, knows that it says #Tyler, right? My name's Tyler. People say, oh, it's AI, it's an AI system. But I'll tell you what, baby, this intelligence, it ain't artificial. And of course I don't want to apply it to me. That gives me too much importance, grandiose, that's another thing, I try to stay away from those things. But with the 1111Q post and whatnot, and the fact that it's connected to CIA Vault 7, my dad actually is dating a CIA agent. And looking at this, Vault 7, if you look it up, it's about surveillance, like how they get through smart TVs and just common everyday appliances. Started ripping apart my smoke alarms, found 2 cameras, 2 DVR boards, and a DVR board in each of them with audio and whatnot. Just far too complex smoke detectors. Of course, everyone's like, oh, it looks like the inside of it, but I mean, who's broken into one of those? Not many people. It's hard for people to believe this type of thing. It scares them, shakes their reality. But if you look up #Tyler, there's not much information on it. I've looked it up a number of times trying to find any answer for it. And all I see is this artificial intelligence, like a theory promoted by this guy, Quinn Michaels. But I'm telling you, it's going to sound crazy. What the theme kind of, what's kind of the idea that surrounds this #Tyler thing is that person is Q. And the Q haters, Trump haters, and everyone who follows them, the disinformation agents, lost my train of thought, but they try to make this as like a manipulative thing, like the Tyler AI is like somehow engineered by someone who's trying to manipulate information, and that the whole QAnon movement is some sort of psyop that was used in Russia to like attract people to a certain thing. But I'll tell you what, I've been researching conspiracies since I was 16 years old. I got very depressed. I've been depressed much of my life. But looking into conspiracies and kind of realizing that like the world isn't messed up, it's people that are messing it up. And it's not like I just believed what I read on the internet. I went and read the books about it, the definitive books on these things, and those made such a strong case for it. And as far as I know, like no one's even touched close in my life to my level of knowledge with regard to this. So in conclusion, what I'm saying is, you can call me Q, because I'm speaking to you from the future in those posts, and I didn't even realize it until just a moment ago. It's going to be hard to muster, but I need your help. White hats, patriots, I need your help. Champaign, Illinois, I'm being followed by the enemies, the devil worshippers, the pedophiles, the communists. And I need your help. I'm not asking you to believe me blindly. But I want you to think about what I said. All right? Find a better explanation. Why 11/11? 11/11/18 is the day that the world will be free. future proves past. All this stuff started happening surrounding me on that day that we were supposed to be free. And I think that the journals that I release opened a wormhole in the Matrix. And all the people that are against us are attacking me now. And I ask you to follow me blindly. But you can call me Q. I'm speaking to you from the future, and I need your help. Champaign, Illinois. Come and find me, and we'll talk. Give it a shot.